Dave Mustaine has officially severed ties with 5B Artist Management following a messy and dramatic lawsuit that's sending shockwaves through the metal world. After years of collaboration that elevated Mustaine's shows from modest club gigs to massive arena events, the split marks an end to a significant chapter in his career. But what does this really mean for Mustaine's future? Is this the final curtain call, or is something bigger happening behind the scenes? Before fans jump to conclusions, it's important to break down exactly what went wrong and why this changes everything. Let's start with the man at the center of the storm. Dave Mustaine is a legend in heavy metal, a figure known as much for his unparalleled talent as for his fiery personality and polarizing history. Born on September 13, 1961, in La Mesa, California, Mustaine's journey reads like a rock and roll revenge movie. A gifted young guitarist, Mustaine once had a golden opportunity when he joined Metallica, only to be kicked out in April 1983 under harsh and humiliating circumstances. He didn't wallow in defeat. Instead, he turned that pain into purpose and founded Megadeth, a band that would become one of the pillars of thrash metal. That anger-fueled ambition launched Megadeth into the metal stratosphere. Mustaine channeled his rejection into creative fire, determined to build something faster, heavier, and more technically impressive than Metallica. He met bassist David Ellefson, and the two quickly formed Megadeth in 1983. Even the band's name had roots in Mustaine's pain, drawn from a flyer referencing Megadeth during his long, bitter bus ride home after being fired. With blazing guitar solos, complex song structures, and Mustaine's snarling vocals, Megadeth quickly carved out a space as one of metal's most iconic acts. Despite the success, Mustaine has always been a divisive figure. His confrontational nature and refusal to let go of past feuds have led to countless rivalries within the music industry. Some see him as bitter, constantly revisiting his Metallica fallout. Others see him as a survivor who turned personal tragedy into musical triumph. Regardless of opinion, no serious conversation about metal can ignore Mustaine's influence. He's kept Megadeth alive through endless lineup changes, controversies, and setbacks, always staying at the helm with unshakable determination. But now, Mustaine faces one of the most serious moments of his career. His fallout with longtime manager Corey Brennan has erupted into a full-scale legal battle. Brennan, once brought in by Mustaine to help rejuvenate his career, is now suing him for over $1 million in unpaid commissions. Their professional relationship had roots going back to Brennan's time as general manager at Sanctuary Records, which released 3 Megadeth albums. When Mustaine needed a career reboot in 2014, Brennan seemed like the perfect choice. Everything changed in April 2023. Without warning, Mustaine's legal team sent a termination letter to Brennan, firing him and declaring that he and his company, 5B Artist Management, were no longer entitled to any future commissions, even for work already completed. Brennan fired back, filing a lawsuit in June 2023, armed with receipts and a strong legal argument. According to Brennan, he had a contract entitling him to 15% of gross earnings from all products released during his time managing Megadeth, including music, merchandise, tours, and deals, even if the payments came in after his dismissal. Brennan's claim detailed commissions from 10 completed tours, 34 upcoming dates he had worked on prior to being fired, and massive merchandise revenue from a brand as legendary as Megadeth. Merchandise is no small deal in the world of metal. Fans spend big on t-shirts, hoodies, and collectibles. Brennan argued he was entitled to a slice of all of it. He even cited personal expenses, like over $5,000 spent on Kentucky Derby tickets for Mustaine and his wife, as proof of how involved he was, not just professionally but personally. This wasn't just a business relationship, it was a full-spectrum partnership that had, until now, seemed rock solid. But the fallout has made it clear, when money gets involved, even decade-long alliances can implode. And in the high-stakes world of heavy metal, loyalty can be just as fragile as fame. So what happens next? Will Mustaine fight back with his characteristic fire, or has the legal blow taken too much out of him? Fans are divided, some brace for the worst, fearing this could be the end of an era. Others suspect the metal icon may have one last thunderous act waiting in the wings. Whatever the outcome, this chapter in Dave Mustaine's life has added yet another layer to his already complex and legendary legacy. One thing's for certain, love him or hate him, Dave Mustaine refuses to go quietly. Being a rock star doesn't shield you from drama. When Corey Brennan was fired, it was as if none of his contributions ever mattered. But this story isn't just about money, it's about respect. Brennan wasn't just a hired manager. He believed he played a key role in reviving Dave Mustaine's career. In his lawsuit, Brennan claimed he worked tirelessly to rebuild Megadeth's reputation and guided Mustaine through personal struggles to bring the band back to success. His attorney, Howard King, didn't mince words, accusing Mustaine of following a pattern, firing people after they helped him get back on top. King bluntly stated, Dave Mustaine, who has a known history of firing advisors, terminated 5B artist management after 9 years of resurrecting his failing career. And frankly, Brennan's team had a point. Under his leadership, Megadeth earned their first Grammy, released 2 successful albums, and went from small clubs back to headlining arenas. Everything looked like it was going great, so why the sudden firing and refusal to pay commissions? Just 4 months before the fallout, in December 2022, Mustaine had even praised Brennan, texting him, "Excellent work, Corey. No one can manage as successfully and professionally as you." So what changed? Rather than moving on quietly, Mustaine fired back. A few months after Brennan filed his lawsuit, Mustaine and Megadeth countersued, claiming they fired Brennan over repeated management failures that allegedly damaged the band's reputation and Mustaine's health. Now things were messy. Both sides accused each other of breaking professional trust. Brennan claimed he was unfairly terminated and denied money he had already earned, while Mustaine accused him of mismanagement. Who was telling the truth? That was the million-dollar question, literally. Then there was the family twist. After Brennan's departure, Mustaine appointed his own son, Justice Mustaine, as the band's new manager. That raised eyebrows. Was this truly about business? Or did Mustaine want to keep things in the family? Perhaps there were deeper, behind-the-scenes issues not reflected in the court filings. Whatever the real story, Mustaine was clearly ready to move on. This legal war became a cautionary tale of how even the tightest business relationships in the music industry can implode. One minute you're being praised for saving a career, the next, you're shown the door without a paycheck. And when millions of dollars are involved, things don't just get personal, they get legal. This wasn't just about commissions. It was about ego, loyalty, and who truly deserved credit for Megadeth's success. Judging by how fiercely both sides fought, this might not be their last courtroom battle. Dave Mustaine has always been a fighter, fighting for his place in Metallica, building Megadeth into a thrash metal legend, surviving addiction and illness, but this may be one fight he couldn't win. The court has spoken. The lawsuit is over. And fans are left wondering, is this really the end? What did Mustaine lose? What does this mean for his music? And is there any way back from this? The settlement reached on October 30, 2023, revealed just how tangled and expensive the fight had become. Mustaine agreed to pay a staggering $1.4 million to end the dispute. The bulk, $1,365,000, came from Megadeth Incorporated to Brennan's company, 5B Artist Management, covering claims related to commissions for tours, merchandise, and deals Brennan helped secure. But Mustaine also had to personally pay $35,000 to Brennan, hinting that the conflict may have gone beyond business. Even stranger, some of Mustaine's other entities, like Thrashville and Megadeth Swag, only had to pay $1 each. A legal formality, perhaps, but symbolically telling. Brennan's lawyer admitted they didn't want to sue Mustaine, but felt they had no other choice. The fallout is even more shocking when you remember this relationship spanned nearly a decade, built on trust and shared ambition, only to crumble in a cloud of accusations and legal fees. And here's the real kicker. Mustaine didn't just pay through the company. He paid personally. If this were merely a simple business dispute, why cut a personal check? Mustaine, known for his defiant nature and refusal to back down, opted to settle instead of drawing out the legal war. That speaks volumes. Maybe Brennan had solid evidence, emails, contracts, proof of unpaid commissions. Or maybe there was something more, something neither side wanted exposed in open court. That's what keeps fans speculating. Because Mustaine is famously combative, never one to quietly walk away. If he settled, it might have been because the cost of fighting outweighed the cost of silence. Or maybe the truth behind the scenes was messier than anyone imagined. And that's what makes this saga so fascinating. On the surface, it's a financial dispute. But look closer, and you'll sense there's something deeper, something unspoken, something Mustaine didn't want going public. And that mystery, that's what will keep this story alive in the metal community long after the last dollar has been paid. With that, we come to the end of this story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. For more thrilling stories, click the next video on your screen.